Hello everyone. So this is my little dam that's in our house paddock, and it's around a megalitre or so around a million litres, which for our American friends I guess is somewhere around, say, 250,000 gallons, maybe a little more, maybe 300,000 gallons. And my plan here to supplement the solar panels, which you'll see on top of the workshop over there, is to install a basic hydro system. So what I'm hoping to do is use this dam which can fill, it's maybe about half full at the moment, and it has a built-in overflow in a moment, which I'll take you over and show you. But what I'm hoping to do is I can probably go about another metre or so, maybe not quite, maybe another 600 or 700, so we'd say, again, 2 foot, 2.5 feet higher, which I can then use as a battery for my hydro system in winter. Because what we have coming over here is, behind here you'll see a whopping great tier. That's another 200 or 300 metres higher than our property where we are here. So we're about 430 metres above sea level. Oh, here comes Lager over to say hello. So we're about 430 metres above sea level, and that's a good 600. So all of that, which runs right up the side of our property, which is 1.6 kilometres up that side. Say hello to Lager. Hello, Lager. So yeah, basically 1 mile diagonally up that side, which has a tier running on it, all runs through here, because there's about a 5-degree fall on our property, which comes all the way down here and mostly drains across this flat here and into this dam. So I'll just pause the video for a second and then move over to where the overflow is now. So here we are over the other side, so that's back looking towards where I was standing before. And at the moment here's approximately a 300mm or 1 foot culvert pipe, and that runs through underneath the road, which was obviously built over it, and then comes out over here and then runs down over to here and down that hill. And down that hill there's a good 7 or 8 metres lower, maybe even 10 if I'm lucky. So what the thinking is here is, instead of this culvert, put 2 100mm or 4-inch soil pipes up through there, so just sewage pipes on top of each other, and have one as an overflow on the top, which I'll put a valve on, and the bottom one to connect to a pipe that can then run down the hill or even close by, really, to a small Pelton wheel turbine. But the thinking is to do this first. So what I'll probably do is, these soil pipes come in 6 metre lengths, and it's 5 metres across the road here. So what I'll do is jam 2 of those in there, put a concrete cap around them for here, and then let this fill up a lot higher, and then measure how much water that we get out there, how many litres a minute or litres a second, and how long it takes to drain from the top up, which again we can measure it out roughly and do the maths, but I want to do this anyway, so we'll just slap happy them in and suck it and see. But as I said before, pretty much across there, just where is it? Yeah, pretty much directly across from where I'm standing is where all the water comes through, is a great big sheet. So through winter, that is probably 6 inches deep in water, just that middle part there, where it's a little bit lower. So it raises up a bit there and a little tiny bit up there, all year round, all flowing into this dam. So what I'm hoping is that with some soil pipes in there to concentrate the flow and make it easy to put fittings on, we might just be able to get some usable water. I know with the head as well you definitely would, but it'd be interesting to know whether or not used as a battery, if you let this fill up and then progressively empty it overnight, whether it's a usable source of water. Because obviously going down there, it's probably another 30, 40, maybe even 50 metres down to the bottom there. It'd be interesting to know whether or not the length of wire I would need to make it over to the power prison, which is where that, if you can see that antenna, that parabolic antenna that's hanging off that, whether or not that would be worth doing. So it would be interesting to know whether it was economic to run the wire, because obviously if I was going to run it at, say, 12 or 24 volts, probably 24 volts at least if I was going to do it, whether or not it would justify the thickness of the wire I'd need. And again, I can get clever and think about maybe a step up and step down transformer. I've also got another cheap, really cheap 1.5 kilowatt solar inverter, an on-grid inverter that I bought for $60 brand new from a recycling place. So maybe could you instead use that, step it up, and then have that come into the inverter as a mains grid? I don't think it'd be all that efficient turning it on and off in dribs and drabs, but if you turned this on, rated a turbine at around 1 kilowatt or so you would actually get pretty much a full kilowatt, which then you could just pump up with you could run the electricity up in 4 mil wire, which for 100 meters is only at most a couple $100. It's much cheaper than what would it cost to run a much larger gauge wire, or I suppose, is it the other way around? I think it's smaller gauge wire in American speak, but yeah, like a larger area wire, how we'd consider it over here in Australia. Because yeah, from there to there, the kind of voltage drop you'd get over in DC probably wouldn't be economical. So anyway, so I just thought I'd make this quick video to show what I'm thinking, the way I'm thinking, and I'd be very interested if anyone has done this, can offer any tips or advice. Because again, I might have a PhD in this stuff, but practically I have never done this before, and I've seen a couple of good videos. Chris Harbour has an excellent system, and he's got a winter stream that he's worked from, and I'll probably use that as a template in terms of how he has done it, at least for the turbine itself. And he seems to get 400, 500 watts all day, every day. And I'm confident, well, certainly with this full, I'm confident that there would certainly be that much water coming out of it just from hydraulic pressure. But it'd be interesting, yeah, to at least get this in into winter, from once winter starts here, when the water starts coming, to see how much, how many watts we could actually generate out of this little dam. But you would think, again, not having done the maths, but it smells like you'd probably get, you'd get overnight. Surely this would empty over 8 or 9 hours at sort of 10 litres a second, and get through a couple of foot off the top of this without any problems, and that's a lot of power. So it'd be interesting, as it rained through the week, to run it for a few hours overnight just to top up the batteries, when obviously the solar is not doing a hell of a lot. I'm also thinking about doing wind as well, but which might actually happen before. There's the wife putting the rubbish out. I want to do wind as well, so I'm hoping to do a hybrid system of both solar, wind and hydro. But Tassie here is quite wet in the winter usually, and as I said, I've come across, just past that mild tractor there, old Mr. Humphreys, past that tree line. I never even knew about it, but there's a winter stream that runs through there, a serious amount of water. So there's even the option of diverting that around into this house paddock as well, if we put a proper culvert and creek to handle it into there, and it wouldn't be causing that much of an issue, because that winter stream that runs over there basically is going to come down through here and then join into this low part of the property here. So basically diagonally through this property there's a low swampy marshy bit, where all the water drains. It dries completely out in summer, but through winter it sits a good 6 or 8 inches of water over maybe 40 acres. So so there's quite a lot of water that comes around here, and if we can direct a bit of it in here, I reckon there's watts to be had. So anyway, so yep, just a quick video to show you the way I'm thinking, and hopefully if anyone has any suggestions or comments or criticisms, I'm interested in your views. But as I said, I've seen a few other systems, and I'm keen to do a similar thing here, because you know, power's good to have, and yeah, the more of it we can get, and especially something like that, there's nothing like a dam or a body of water as a cheap battery, because you know, it doesn't cost very much, especially when it's already been dug. Okay then, so once again, I'll stop rambling now, and thanks for watching.